The battle for lunch continues in this week's episode of Attack on Titan Junior High. My big takeaway from this week's episode of Attack on Titan Junior High is that the Titans of this series are not dangerous or vicious at all. All they want to do is steal people's food and snacks. Basically, the Titans of this series are just a bunch of assholes. This week's episode also introduces the cowardly but clever Armin, another fan-favorite character from the series, and I really love what they're doing with him in this show, because they've taken his paranoia and they've kicked it up to 11. Basically, he's a combination of Howard Hughes and Linus from the Peanuts comic strip. He has a chronic fear of winter and anything cold, and he hangs out in his room all day, wrapping himself in his futon, and he has multiple heaters hooked up, and it's really funny when both Eren and Mikasa go to visit him so that they can try and bring him back to school, and when they actually go inside, it's literally like being within the core of the sun, and Mikasa almost passes out a few times. This week's episode also introduces arguably the most popular character from the series, Captain Levi, except now he's the head of this Attack Junior High Scout Regiment group, which decides that they're going to take down all of the Titans. He actually ends up saving both Eren and Mikasa, and he doesn't really save them. He basically just beats the crap out of this Titan, but it mimics his entrance in the series, which I thought was really cool. Right after this, though, out of nowhere, Levi just decides to steal Armin's futon and runs away with it to the school, and this is where our adventure begins this week, because not only are they trying to track down Armin's futon, they're also going to be trying to find a club that they can join in the school. The problem is, a lot of them have bad luck. If they try to join a sports club, it's usually run by Titans, and they just bully them and basically beat the crap out of them, and probably stealing all of their food and snacks. And then you got Sasha Blouse, who joined this one cooking club, but she just decided to eat all of their inventory, so she was swiftly kicked out. I will say that Sasha Blouse fits right at home in this series due to her really goofy and eccentric nature. My favorite thing about this week's episode, and one of my favorite callbacks to the Attack on Titan series, is when they actually decide they're going to try and join this club, which is basically the Scout Regiment from the original Attack on Titan series, except here, it's basically just them hanging out in this weird, like, old-school clubhouse where who knows what they do. I guess they just want to take down all the Titans. They don't really make it clear what they mean by, like, taking down the Titans, like if they literally want to kill them or not. I'm really thinking way too much about this series. I shouldn't be doing that. The point is, this scene is a great callback because you have the reintroduction of the character of Oluo, who always bit down on his tongue in Attack on Titan, and when they meet him at the door, his head actually ends up getting slammed right against it, and he ends up biting his tongue just like in that series. And of course, the introduction of all those other characters is really great. Although, I have to say, a lot of the times, the chibi-eyes looks of the characters just look really weird and kind of wrong for some of the characters, and sometimes overly funny. Like, there's this one shot of Reiner Braun where his upper body is just so completely jacked and the lower half is not. He looks like Joe from Family Guy. But the episode ends with Eren and his friends getting ready to join the Attack Junior High Scout Regiment when Levi enters the room and smacks Eren in the back of the head. Funny little detail here is you can see Mikasa get really pissed off, and she has this, like, evil aura that's constantly emanating around her body, and she doesn't say a word. And that's another really good thing that is funny about this series, I have to admit. There's a lot of little things that are hidden in the background, lots of funny expressions, and by turning these characters into these chibi-eyes forms, they can certainly be a lot more expressive than they can be sometimes in the anime version, the real anime version of Attack on Titan. But otherwise, this was a pretty funny episode. It all ended with Armin getting his futon back because Levi fixed it, because why the hell not? He's just a really nice guy. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Attack on Titan on Junior High? Again, this is another episode that, just like the first, is a big joke that only Attack on Titan fans are really going to get and appreciate. For people who don't read Attack on Titan manga or watch the anime version or seen the crappy live-action movies, if you go ahead and watch this, it'll still be pretty funny and slapsticky, and there's a lot of cute character designs and weird, ridiculous moments. But the strengths of the series lie in its ability to, like, basically emulate the events from the real show and make them really funny and slapsticky, like when Oluo bit his tongue, or just all the moments at the beginning with Keith when he was berating all of the students, or when Levi was introduced with his two fans and attacking that giant Titan. It's all just callbacks to the actual series. But my favorite thing about this episode, though, was Armin. They had so much fun with taking his personality and just doing a lot of crazy things with it and making it really over the top. And to me, that was the funniest part of the episode. That, Titan when he actually leaves his house, he's just so sickly the entire time and constantly has like snot running out of his nose. It's just really, really goofy, and it actually fits that character perfectly. I really wish they would take like that example and apply that to some of the other characters, make them go a little nuttier and crazy. I mean, there was the one scene at the end of the episode where Eren did his classic line where he said he wanted to slaughter all of the Titans, and they played it really serious, just like the original anime version. Like, they didn't try to make it look all goofy or anything. Like, he still had the super detailed multicolored eye thing going on, and he looked really pissed off. So, and that sort of like clashed with everything, but at the same time, it actually made it funnier. It's ridiculous. So, again, this is a comedy anime that I think Attack on Titan fans are really going to like. Everybody else, it might be kind of a mixed bag for. But if you are a fan of Attack on Titan, I highly recommend checking out this show. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of comedy anime, but I have to admit, I've been chuckling quite a bit watching this show, and it is because I am a fan of Attack on Titan. But I'm hoping that this will just build my anticipation for Season 2, which just got announced. There were some clips which were actually released. I think it was at some sort of convention, or it was after one of the movies or something. And I didn't want to make a whole video about it, but basically it takes place like right at the end of the first season of Attack on Titan, when you have the Titan that's in the wall. And there's this great moment where there's that one priest who somehow is still alive, and he ends up getting in Hanji Zoe's face. And I don't even want to say anymore. Just check it out for yourself. It's really good, and it'll get you all hyped up for the next season, because it makes it sort of seem like there could be Titans all up in those walls. I should also remind you that I do not read the manga version of Attack on Titan. I only watch the anime, so you can imagine how excruciating the wait for Season 2 has been for me. I tend to like anime a little bit more than manga. That's just the way it is. What I will say is, this episode right here was very funny. It still had good, clean animation. Armin was freaking hilarious. All the callbacks were there, and it's just a fun, colorful, ridiculous show. It's not Shakespeare or anything, but, you know, it's just Attack on Titan Junior High. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. Armin just made me laugh. He was really funny in this week's episode. But before you guys leave today, I want to hear your thoughts. Please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Attack on Titan Junior High. Do you have a favorite Attack on Titan character? Do you have one that's appeared so far in the Attack on Titan Junior High series? What did you think of Armin's introduction? And what would you like to see from the rest of this weird, ridiculous spin-off and the second season of Attack on Titan? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!